Hi again. It's been a while since you joined me for a coffee, so let's get to it. What I wanted to talk about today is MCP, or the Model Context Protocol. Now, this made big waves, but not right away. It's actually launched end of last year, but it was only earlier this year that it kind of made the news, and it seemed like every AI company, every AI influencer on LinkedIn, was talking about MCP. And for a minute there, it wasn't immediately obvious why, because the protocol was kind of rudimentary. It was only good for basically one use case, where you were using MCP in order to give access to local tools to your model, which is all well and good, but a lot of what people are really excited about these days is not just using AI with local tools, but being able to put your model in touch with, anything that might be out there, especially in an enterprise context where out there could span quite a lot. So it has been interesting to watch the uptake by vendors, by influencers, by actual users even, who'd have thunk it, of MCP. And the interesting thing is that AI is a market that moves fast anyway, but MCP, this was a further acceleration. Everyone but everyone was launching their MCP support, or at least talking about how they were going to launch their MCP support real soon now. We at SnapLogic were the same. We had it working in our labs pretty quickly, and then we started figuring out how to get it into the hands of our users. Because we have our agent creator that lets you create agents, but those agents, to be useful, they need to call tools. Some of those tools might be already accessible via the data fabric that the SnapLogic integration platform provides, but others, they might not have that connector, or they might be in-house tools which don't have a standard interface available. The value proposition was obvious, but when you started digging into the details, some of the authentication mechanisms, for instance, and the way you had to distribute certificates around, again, an enterprise scale architecture, it was obvious that this wasn't really what the protocol was for. Now, that doesn't mean that it's wrong, that it's a bad idea. It's kind of inherent in the early days of a technology that there are these exploratory efforts. So whether what's going to happen is a rapid evolution of the Model Context Protocol and these features will get added, whether it will actually be a different protocol that takes hold, such as Google's agent-to-agent protocol, or A2A, or whether what we'll end up with is going to be a mix of the two, is going to be really interesting to see. But what I wanted to talk about was actually to take a step back and think about what all of this means. I was talking to an enterprise architect at one of SnapLogic's strategic customers, big, household name, world-class company. You've definitely heard of them. So we're doing an event at their headquarters, and we had 70-odd internal people. Some of them were existing users of SnapLogic who wanted to demonstrate what they had built, what they'd been able to automate and integrate with SnapLogic to their colleagues. Some of them were from departments that are not yet SnapLogic users, but were curious to hear about what we've been doing. Some of them were there to hear me talk about the roadmap, where we're taking the platform in the future, or to hear about the pilot project using Agent Creator that has just been running. And so it was a really full and varied agenda for the day. But then after the formal event was over, I got talking to one of their architects, and we were talking about, okay, so all of these AI things, all of these pilots that are starting to come to fruition and starting to go into production, how are you thinking about how you'll manage this long term at the scale of your massive globe-spanning company? And oh yes, I got both barrels of that. He had definitely been thinking about that, and we went and fetched a few other members of his team, and we had a very illuminating conversation. And while MCP was one of the things that they were looking at, it was not at all clear whether that would be the answer, but we all agree that it's very healthy that people are starting to ask that question. People had been off in corners of the company in little department scale efforts, trying out various AI things, or even starting to roll out various AI things. But nobody had really been thinking about what this would look like at scale once every one of their strategic platforms, and they're big enough that they don't have one strategic platform, they have many strategic platforms. When every one of those embeds AI capabilities, what does that look like from the point of view of governance, of the data, of control over the models, etc., etc.? What would it look like to have something like a data fabric, but that is agentic, that is AI aware and AI enabled? And so we all agreed that while MCP may not be the answer, the fact that MCP has emerged and has so rapidly entered the discourse is a very, very good sign for the maturing of this market, because it means that people are starting to ask those questions. That we won't wind up in the situation that I've written about before, of people just going off and doing their own thing, and shadow AI, by analogy with the shadow cloud, happening in the corners outside of view and control and governance by corporate IT. And instead, whether it's through MCP or whether it's through something else, we'll be able to have control, governance, visibility, planning, and be able to adopt these exciting new technologies in a way that's sustainable and scalable for the business, over and above, what the technology on its own is capable of. Anyway, my coffee's brewed now, but I thought that was an interesting finding. I thought I would share it. If you have thoughts, please do drop a comment below or get in touch directly. I always enjoy hearing from people, and we'll be talking again soon. But for now, I'm going to pour my coffee and get on with the rest of my day. Cheers.